This question came in to me from a student from section 3-6. It's question number 44. The item number is 44, but for your assignment, it might have been any problem number. But when you look at the problem ID, it's 3644. And this was a problem that had to do with marginal cost. Now, this is an important question because it gives us this important function and this idea of what marginal profit is. And it's defined for us here in the problem. Marginal profit is the derivative of the profit. We could also look at marginal cost, which is the derivative of a cost function, and so on. Let's look at what some of these terms mean. To start with, profit is going to be the revenue. Let me add some color to this. The revenue, so revenue would be described as how many items are sold times the price of each item. That's going to tell us how much money comes in, minus the cost. And that's going to give us the profit. Our profit is how much money comes in minus how much money goes out. So the number of items sold times the price of each item minus the cost of each item. The next piece of information we have from this problem, another piece of just defining something, is the average cost per item. The average cost per item when X items are sold is the profit divided by how many items there are, right? So that's going to give us the average profit per item. The total profit divided by how many items are sold. And then here's the important one. Here's what we have from calculus, because everything else we could really describe as being pre-calculus or algebra. The marginal profit is the piece that we can now do with calculus, and this is the derivative of the profit function. So the marginal profit is the derivative of the profit with respect to X. The marginal profit approximates the profit obtained by selling one or more item, given that X items have already been sold. Consider the following cost functions and price functions and complete parts A through D. So the cost function is given to us. The price, how much they're deciding to sell everything for, and then we're given a specific number of items sold, made and sold. So let's look at the questions. The first question asks us to find the profit function. Next, so the profit function is this. The next question asks us to, part B asks us to find the average profit function and the marginal profit function. And then the last, or the third part, maybe not the last part. The third part says find the average profit function and marginal profit function when we have a specific A. So we'll go into our B, our part B, and replace the X with A. Let's try some of this. To start with, let's find the profit function. Oh, I'm realizing now that in our screen, let me see. Oh, there we go. Sorry that very top had been cut off, but what it said was profit is revenue minus the cost. So the profit is going to be the revenue, X times P of X. So we're given the price is 300 minus 1/10 of X. So we're going to multiply X times the price. So X items times the price per item. How many items did we sell? X. How much are we selling each item for? 300 minus 1/10 of X. So when we multiply those, that's going to give us our total revenue. And to get the profit, so don't get these two little p's mixed up, by the way. This is profit with a capital P. This is price with a lowercase p. We have our revenue minus the cost. So minus the negative 1/100th times x squared plus 90x plus 200. I'm going to do this vertically. Let me show you what I mean by that. I'm going to simply distribute this x to get 300x minus 0.1x squared. And then when I subtract the opposite, when I subtract each of these, they all change to their opposite. So plus, minus, minus, right? But when I write these above each other, it makes it really easy to combine like terms without losing anything. And so here's the answer to part A. The profit function we can find by combining those like terms. Moving on to part B, the average profit and marginal profit. All I'm going to do is divide our red profit function by x. When I divide by x, I'd get the first part of part B, the average profit. How did I know that? Well, that part was given to us, that it's the profit divided by x. And then find the derivative of our profit function, our p of x, and that gives us the marginal profit. Oh, you know, I'm so used to talking about marginal cost. I realize I wrote this as cost, but it's the marginal profit, isn't it? Pardon me for that error there, but it's the marginal profit that we're asked to find. So that's the derivative of profit. We could find the marginal cost. It'd be the derivative of the cost function here. But this asks us to find marginal profit. So I took the derivative of the profit function and got negative 1800ths of x plus 210. And then part C asks us to find the average profit when 500 units are sold. And when 500 units are sold, oops, let me change to a, sorry about that. Let me change to a highlighter. That's what I meant to do. The profit of 500 units divided by 500 units is going to give us the average profit. So all I'm doing is substituting in the 500 for x, and I'd get $164.60. I could also find the marginal profit, that was the derivative, when x equals 500. So I'm simply substituting in a 500, substitute 500 for x, and that's where the $120 comes from. This last part is a part that you just have to be able to interpret, well, what does this mean? So interpret the meaning of the values obtained in part C. What we have here is that the average profit, part C tells us that the average, here we are, right here, the average profit for 500 items comes to $164.60. That's how we could interpret part C. The average profit for 500 items comes to $164.60. We could also interpret the marginal profit, and if you read the definition here, the marginal profit approximates the profit obtained by selling one more item given that X items have been sold. So we could say that the profit, let me jot this down so that you're clear on this. What this tells us is that the profit for not the 500th, but one more. 501st item produced is $120. So that profit changes for each item, right? Based on how many we've made, how much our investment was, etc. So to get that precise, how about that precise 501st item? It was $120, and that's how we could interpret it. I hope that this video has helped a little bit with this type of a problem, and please don't hesitate to contact me if you need help with additional examples.